my lovely stitchy friends, how are you all doing? This is Mika and it is Christmas 2020 and I am in a completely new, different location. I wrote a while back on Instagram that I was gonna try and get another Flosstube recorded around Christmas. Well, today is the 24th, so tonight is Christmas Eve and I hope to edit this and upload this somewhere in the coming days to YouTube. Lots of time has passed since we last spoke. My last video was July 28th, so we are almost half a year further now. I have loads to tell you, and of course I have to tell you everything about the new surroundings that I am in. Last time, for those of you who watched the live updates, I left you with quite a teaser, and I promise that today I'm going to share all of that in this video. I have quite a pile of well, quite, not a super high pile, but a worthy pile of whips and new starts since last time we spoke. So we are first gonna go through the stitching updates. Then I am going to talk a little bit about the plans that I have for the next year so far. Then I am going to put a little clip in of my new stitchy storage space, because quite a few of you asked me to film that, so I have. And then it is time to get a fresh drink and we will dive into the live updates and, well, the urban oasis where I am right now, as says the title of the video. So let's dive right in with the stitching. Last time we talked, I showed you the projects lying on the table. And now that I am in my own proper spot, again, I'm going to try to just keep the phone in the tripod and just go back to old style and hold them up. Let's see how we go. And if you have any feedback on that, of course, let me know as always. Last time was at the end of July. And on August 1st, we started a very special birthday stitch along for our stitching friend Dunja. The hashtag for that was #TeaWithNiceCompanyCell, and a couple of friends started the Benedict Cumberbatch tea pattern by Heaven and Earth Designs, and I started a different pattern but very much in the same color theme. I started the beautiful Aquarius Max Colors by Pat Brennan. I'll zoom in a little bit more. I'm getting quite a bit of glare from the windows, but I'm trying to find the best angle. She's the max color version, and as you can see, she holds all my favorite shades of green and blue. And as I was scrolling back through my Instagram posts to prepare for this video, I found the caption that I wrote when I started this piece, so 5 months ago. And I've screen capped it, and I would like to read it to you because this piece has a link to my whole journey. And it is funny, I don't know if you guys do this, but every now and then, especially in this time of year, I get a bit sentimental, I get a bit nostalgic, and I think back on the year that is behind me. Not that many people will be nostalgic of 2020, but I always like to look back, you know, where I've been, where I've gone, what I've done, what I've learned. And the caption that I wrote on Instagram at the start of this stitch along is one that I had almost forgotten again. So mostly from myself, but let me read it to you. So this is August 1st. After a stressful work week in which I fell back into the trap of pushing myself and talking myself down, I had a wonderful talk with my job coach. We talked about making healthy work choices and different perspectives to approach that. My perspective is still often the old, drilled into approach of pushing and persevering. I say to myself that no is not an option, that you have to deliver, and that the things that you need are not a priority. My job coach then asked me to think of images that make me relax instead of tense. I came up with dancing, sunshine, stitching, sea, water, waves, which then led me to showing her the cover picture of Aquarius. Wow, she said, how long will it take you to finish that? I smiled and answered, a lifetime, probably, but I don't mind. I love the process. I love seeing it grow stitch by stitch. She then looked at me silently with a little smile in the corners of her mouth, allowing me to reach the conclusion myself. It took me a bit, but then there was this eureka moment, and I said, every stitch counts. That's it. So here is my assignment: to approach my work like I do my stitching. Every stitch, step, task, hour, day counts. It's not about reaching the end result as soon as possible. It's about a healthy and fulfilling journey towards the goal. Once again, our beautiful craft made my day. I had seriously forgotten that I connected that lesson to this start. And so I wanna remember that for myself. And Aquarius is, huge. I talked about it last time. She is 625 wide by 781 high. There is probably a million stitches in this. And I started her in the bottom left corner, which is something that I usually never do. But I did that because at the time, Haidt was still recharting their charts that contained 08 and 09. And there was 09 in the original version in her skin tones. I managed a page finish on this quite quickly because the bottom left was just like 2 or 3 rows. Here goes. Let's see if I still know how to do this. This is bottom left. This is a challenge. Nah, that's not good. This is bottom left. Yes, there we go. This is bottom left. It's a loads of black. And here is the first bubble slowly appearing. I'm stitching this not on my trusted 18 count Devosa, but on 20 count Bellana because of all the black. And like many of us, I am a bit particular about fabric showing through. So this is Bellana 20 count Swigart by Devosa, the little brother of my trusted Devosa. And I told you back in the day that at some point, when I finish Aquarius in a million years, I would like to hang it in my bathroom. Well, as you can probably guess by my surroundings, I have a new bathroom. And that makes me all the more motivated to make this beautiful lady one of my focus projects for the new year. That was one, Aquarius. And let me tell you, there are 3 more. 1, 2. Yeah, there are 3 more new starts in the pile. Serial starter much? The second new start, also Heaven and Earth Designs, is a start that I did for my birthday, which came along in September. It is a chart that I had my eyes on for, well, a long time. It's by Nadia Strelkina, if I pronounce that correctly. And she makes these wonderful, beautiful, feminine, fairy tale, wonderful designs. And I started Fairy 2, the max color version. This one I started again in the top left corner, as is how I usually like it. And despite the dark colors surrounding the corners, I stitch this, I should say, on 18 count Devosa. Look at that being gorgeous. I love, love, love this chart. And if you wanna, by the way, join that stitch along, the hashtag is Nadia Strelkina Sell Stitch Along. I did 2 page finishes on this. Look at that. Look at that. Oh. That castle is just gorgeous, and all those beautiful dark blue, dark green shades in the background. Oh man. This really is a fairy tale of a design. It is so much fun to stitch on this. And I don't really know why, but for some reason I find Hades relaxing. I know that a couple of you, I'm thinking among other people of course Jemima the rocking stitcher, you recognize this feeling that even though there are huge projects and even though there is loads of color changes and even though it looks complicated and enormous and overwhelming, this is the kind of stitching that I find relaxing these days. And I mean, if you look at this piece, there are, let me see, this is the max color version. Yeah, she contains 239 colors, and over 100 are already used in the first 2 pages. It looks complicated, it looks like it requires a lot of counting and concentrating, but for some reason I find this so relaxing. So, this year has proven to be very much a Heaven and Earth Designs year for me, and I have no doubt that the next year will continue that. My next art is not a Heaven and Earth Designs, but it is a full coverage piece. Last time I showed you also on the tablet my little modest collection of Carolyn Manning designs. I love her Shooting Stars collection and a lot of us love it. I had already, where is it? See, I can't do 2 things at the same time. Turquoise, here we go. I told you last time about that triptych idea that I got. Northern Lights, Moonstone and Turquoise. And Turquoise was yet to start. And here it is. Oh, look at that. I am only doing the big design. I have no plans at the moment for the smaller designs that are in the bottom. But this is the colors of my bedroom. And I will put a picture in here to show you. That looks good, doesn't it? I started it, and here is where I got to so far. Ooh, gorgeous colors. Since it is full coverage, I am also using 18 count Devosa. This is the top left corner. Yeah, beautiful. Next up is my last new start of the year. Also a Heaven and Earth design. This was not a planned start, let me tell you. Not that I ever really plan my starts a lot in advance. I am, as you know, very much the sweewee type of stitcher. During the last Heaven and Earth Design sale, so not the one that ran last week, but the one before, they had a sale. Was it a Thanksgiving sale? Probably. They ran a sale, and just before that, they had released a max color version of a chart that I have loved for a long time, and that was one of the early ones to go in my Heaven and Earth Designs wish list. This one. Oh. Deep Water by Jonathan Earl Bowser. I have a thing for his designs. I don't really know why, but they have this very, feminine figures often. This one, of course, the sea and the waves, and look at that, that water dress that she's wearing. I had contemplated purchasing the max color version before, or I should say to order a max color version, but then somebody ordered it already and they released it, and I was like, yeah, this, I need to have this. This chart contains 113 colors, So it's not as, humongous as the 239 of Fairy 2. And I started this a couple of weeks ago to commemorate, I should rather say to celebrate the fact that I am 100% fully back at work. It was my goal to get back to work, before Christmas, once things started improving on the health front. And luckily everything worked out. My sick file is now officially closed. I'll talk more about that in the live updates, but I wanted to take, a moment to celebrate that enormous milestone. And I wrote on my Instagram post something like, this lady reminds me of the enormous journey that is now behind me work-wise. The stormy seas, the waves threatening to crash over you, and she stands there tall and beautiful and strong, and she commands the waves. And I just love that image. So this was my start to celebrate being full-time back at work. And I am getting close to finishing the first page. Here we go. Again, top left, and you don't see a lot yet. You just see the waves splashing up from the rock that is going to appear somewhere on the page below. It just looks like an enormous amount of grayish blues, but there are about 50 or 60 colors in here already. There is a 20, there is the light blue range in the 3800s, there is loads of 160, 930, 931, etc., etc. This is very relaxing stitching. So my plan is for the Christmas days to try and get a finish on this, or not a finish, a page finish. It's not a very big design though. This is quite smaller than my usual height. This one is 525 by 350. Which is still big, I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's not as humongous as other things. And if I manage to get a page finish on deep water, I am going to circle back to, let me grab it, to a height that caught my attention again, somehow. This beautiful baby, which is Peacock Daisy by Heaven and Earth Designs. Why don't I show you the full page? The full picture. This was this was also a stitch along this year because we had a 29th of February. What's the word in English for that? It's at the tip of my tongue and I don't know. Schrikkeljaar in Dutch, which I dare you to pronounce if you're not Dutch. Schrikkeljaar. So this was the February 29 sale, or this is the February 29 sale, I should say. And here is Peacock Daisy finished. You just saw the picture of my bedroom. I used the same beautiful blue-green color that I did in my previous house. And I very much I very much realize that the projects that I'm choosing for next year to focus on have a connection to the house. I see them hanging up in my bedroom like this one, or they have a connection to the whole work mental health journey. I have loads of projects on the go because I am a serial starter, but now that I've moved into my new house, I can definitely see that my attention gets pulled by projects that I see hanging on the wall here. And this is one of them. So I started in the top left corner, and this week I had not fully bobbinated the project yet, which is something that I normally do for every start, but for this one I just started the first page. And this week the threads arrived that I need for the rest of it. You could just, put a nail in the wall, hang these on the wall and call it art. It is art. So those are my plans for the upcoming Christmas holidays. I say holidays, I am still, you know, at work, even though we are still full-time working from home. I am one of the 3 in my team who continue to be, online and available and working throughout the Christmas holidays, because I've used up most of my vacation time for moving into this place. And usually during Christmas and New Year's Eve, either one of 2 things happen. What happens usually is that the company is quiet and you have time to clean out your email and to make your plans for the new year and to get to these tasks that always disappear to the bottom of the pile. Or something goes wrong in the IT department and things become chaotic. I've experienced both in the years that I work for this company, so we will see what happens. But I have a beautiful home office here now, so I should be fine. If things stay quiet, which I hope, I will have loads of time for stitching, because also we are in our 3rd version of lockdown here in the Netherlands. And that means for me, most practically, that the gyms are closed and that I have all the evenings to myself. My stitching spot in the new house has immediately become the blue sofa. I have given myself, as a sort of Christmas present, a new television. So I spend my evenings now on the couch with my Q-snap on the lap frame, on my lap, with a cup of tea and a blanket over my legs, and I watch Netflix or Flosstube or Disney Plus or YouTube or what have you. I love it. So I hope to spend the Christmas holidays like this. And then looking forward to 2021, there are a few things that I have planned on, in the stitching area. First of all, swiwi all the way. I have never been a planner. I have tried rotations. It's not for me. I will just stitch what I want when I want. And I still very much love that stitching philosophy. Thank you, Emma. There are 2 stitch-alongs that I'm contemplating joining. First up, there is the beautiful Fruits of Plenty cell by Modern Folk Embroidery. If you don't know already, Jacob has joined Flosstube, so I strongly recommend that you check out his videos. He is passionate about his craft and he has so many lovely stories to tell. And then secondly, there is the new Linen and Threads stitch-along, which looks really, really great. And I am going to see how the first few months, pan out. So I might join those. There is one Heaven and Earth Designs in particular that I am anxiously awaiting, and that is this. This is a upcoming new release by Elizabeth Welker. She is one of the artists that hate charts, and we had a little conversation back in, I think, end of October, early November, when I saw this beautiful blue fractal piece on her Facebook page. So I messaged her and said, hey, is this, going to go to hate? And yes, it is going to go to hate. I have no idea about the time schedule or when it's going to be released. I expect somewhere, hopefully in the early months of 2021. That is one Heaven and Earth Designs that is definitely going, not on the wish list, but on in the basket and on to check out. And then I splurged a little bit in the catalog of the Handwerk Boutique, our LNS in Rode. I got this beautiful chart, The Colors of the Sky, by Historische Stiekmuster. I am not going to do that in the original colors. I am going to convert that to my blues and greens together with its twin, The Colors of Water. I also got their beautiful Winter Wonderland chart, and I may start those in the winter. We'll see. I love, you know, having them in the collection, as some stitchers say. And then first thing that I'm definitely going to do early on next year is I am going to film a whip parade. I have gone through my pile of projects, and don't judge me, but I have by now over 50 whips on the go. Not 15, 50, 5, 0. All of them, with the exception of one, have been started between 2015 and 2020. And like I just said a couple of minutes ago, now that I'm in my new place, I want to stitch on things that I want to see on the wall here. And so I have gone through the pile and I have made a selection of active whips and UFOs. That brings me to a clip that I'm going to insert here. In this new house, I don't have a proper third bedroom anymore, which is not a problem at all because I have an enormous living room with this beautiful blue couch. So this is my stitching space. But I have a wonderful second bedroom, which I am using as storage, office space, etc. And some of you have asked me to make, you know, a little clip of how I have organized and structured that. So I will put that in here. Welcome to the craft room, or I should rather say craft storage room. This closet came with the house, and it fits perfectly in this little nook in the second bedroom. It was, like everything in this place, beige when I bought it, so I painted it white, and it holds so freaking much room. So, like an advent calendar, let's open door number 1 and see what's inside. On the first floor, we have bobbin boxes, floss cards, DMC numbers, MTQ snaps, and what have you. In the left, I have pretty much an entire DMC collection, I think, even though I still prefer to bobbinate my projects per project. So everything has its own bobbin box, but I think, you know, all in all, I have pretty much a full DMC set. We move up 1 floor. This is the goodie. This is my fabrics and thread stash. Organized and fitting exactly in the width of the closet, just as I like it. I've divided the fabrics that I own in, you know, just normal storage boxes, 28 count, 32 count, 36. And the fourth one here is miscellaneous, 18 count, 20, 20, 25, and a few beautiful XU design fabrics in higher counts, 38, 40, and 46. And behind that is 7 smaller boxes of my thread collection. Yeah, I should probably label this sable. But like many people say, and rightly say, collecting is a different hobby all by itself. And I agree. I'm leaving the third floor closed for now because that is the last one. On top is the inactive whips for next year. And those of you who can read from that distance can probably tell by some of the labels which are among that. And in this box, ooh, this is going to be dangerous. This beautiful box contains my grime guards. And now we move to the third floor. And this is going to be the subject of my first video in 2021. These are my active whips. They are all stored in beautiful fabric project bags Most of them are by Maya from Shop My Designs. There are a few in here by Caroline off the grid, and the beautiful ones with the scissor fobs in the corner here are by Jen of Cats Out of the Bags on Etsy. I will link those beautiful friends down below in the comment box, in the description box, of course. These are the projects that I have selected for next year. I'm not going to attempt at counting them. I think there are about 15 to 20. And the first 3 from the left you've already seen in the update. They are Fairy 2 and Turquoise and Aquarius. But this is going to be the subject of my first video for the new year, a whip parade. Let's see if I can manage that somewhere in January. All right, back to that. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is the stitching bit of this video. So now let's have a drink and let's dive into the life updates. Once again, like last time, if you were just here for the stitching updates, that's fine, that's absolutely fine. I wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and hopefully a healthy and lovely and wonderful 2021. And for those of you who want to know how I've been and what has happened, let's sit comfortably, let's, at least let's get some stitching on your part. I have my drink here and let's dive in. I told you last time that something very positive was looming on the horizon and that we were in the process of selling my old new place because we had come to the conclusion that this was not the place for me. That positive thing that loomed on the horizon was this. I bought myself a new house. I got the keys on October 2nd, and in that first weekend I took a few little video clips, and so I will insert those here and then get into the whole story. Hey my lovely stitchy friends, how are you all doing? This is Mika on Friday, October 2nd, and I have something very special to tell you. As you may probably hear by the echo in my voice and by the bright white wall behind me, I am in a new location. And let me show you where I am. I am in a green, water, sunny paradise palace, and it's all mine. I've bought a new house and I got the keys this morning and I'm super happy with it. I told you in my previous video that there was something special coming up and that I wasn't quite ready to tell you, but that was this place. I have moved back to my hometown of Ede. I have bought the most gorgeous apartment in the area where I used to live. We closed this morning, everything went well, the finances are all dealt with, and now I am in this place. Patricia has just visited me and brought me a bouquet of flowers. I am going to go to the supermarket and to the do-it-yourself stores and bring up all the paintwork and all the brushes and everything. But I wanted to take a moment to share this news with you and to tell you that for at least the next 4 or 5 weeks, we will be working on this place. I'm super happy with it. It feels so much calmer and so much more grounded than last time. Hey, lovely friends. It is Saturday evening, October 3rd. This is my first sunset in the new place. It is very cloudy after a rainy day, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to film the very first time that I see the sunset from my bedroom. We've done a lot today, a lot of paint work, a lot of getting things organized. I'm tired, but I feel good. No panic attacks, so that's really very good news. I am going to close the house now and we'll be back tomorrow. Ciao, ciao. Good morning. Today is Sunday, October 4. It is a very cloudy day. Woo! It's super windy, which is good for the paintwork to dry. I'm taking a little break with my coffee, and I wanted to check in for a sec. I was nervous about today. I told you in my previous video with the whole story about the other new place. This is the newest new place, that on day 3 last year everything went wrong again, that my panic attacks came back. It was also a Sunday that day. It was the 3rd day after getting the key. I was tired, and I am tired today. My body hurts after 2 days of, moving muscles that you're not used to move. So I was feeling a bit antsy when I drove here, but I did not feel panicky. I felt a bit tense because the memory from last year obviously came back to the surface, came back to the forefront of my mind. But I did not enter into a panic. Everything is beautiful here. I love the fountain outside. And we are getting quite some stuff done already. That's all the paint products, nicely organized as I like it. So, coffee break, and then on to the beautiful, beautiful colors that this house has. Let me show you. All the inside doors are either brown or a color that Patricia has affectionately called salmon beige. I am very much a Scandinavian style girl, so everything is gonna get a really good treatment and get lightened up and modernized, so it will all be ready for my blue furniture. I'm guessing all of this is gonna need a couple of paint coatings, but that's okay. I like paint work, and I look forward to a day of just having the place to myself. Maybe my parents will visit later on, but otherwise it's gonna be just me and my new place, and it feels good. Ciao, ciao. That was almost 3 months ago, the first weekend of October, and we are now at the end of December. And as you can see, the brown curtains have gone. Similarly with the paintwork, everything is now beautiful, bright, white, Scandinavian with elements of blue and gold. What happened? I said during the stitching update that in the Netherlands we have had 3 varieties of lockdown now. This is the 3rd one and the most severe one, but back in the springtime we had what our government called a intelligent lockdown. People were strongly advised to work from home. People were strongly advised to, social distance and cut back on social activities. Gyms were closed, etc., etc., etc. During that lockdown, this place went up for sale. And I think that really worked in my advantage. This apartment is literally 3 streets away from my previous apartment, where I started doing Flosstubes in 2015. And in my previous video, I told you about how much I missed my old neighborhood, how much I missed the green and the water. Well, you've seen it in the clips that I've just inserted. It's gorgeous here. This part of the neighborhood is called the Urban Oasis, which is a name that I like. And so for me, this has become the Urban Stitching Oasis, or the Urban Blue Oasis, or however you want to call it. And there are specifically 2 apartment buildings in this neighborhood that I've kept my eye on for the last couple of years, and this was one of them. This apartment building has a sort of twin big brother at the beginning of the neighborhood, close to the hospital, close to the highway, for those of you who know Ada. But this one was always the one that I kept my eye on, because it is, well, like you just saw, it is situated at the water. You have total privacy, nobody looks inside. I can run around here in whatever way, shape or form I want to. But this is a place that is known for never coming on sale. It was built in the early 90s, 91, 92, and most people that live here are 65 and older. I am the youngest owner in the building, and I love it. Most people here are they don't work anymore. They're pensioners, and a lot of them have been living here since this apartment building was built back in the 90s. So whenever an apartment in this building comes on the market, people ask an enormous price for it, and the same with this place. The previous owner that lived here, put it on the market literally a couple of days before our intelligent lockdown started. And that has been, looking back on things, very much in my advantage. Because especially, you could see by the price and by the interior that this place was targeted at older, wealthy people. And older people were, one of the risk groups of COVID. So instead of this place, being sold in a day, like happens with most apartments in the country, it stayed for sale for 3 months. 3 months. I saw it being uploaded to Funda, our housing market online app database. And I thought to myself, this is a beautiful location, but it's way too expensive. And I can't afford this. I can't. So I saved it to my favorites to keep an eye on it, but I didn't visit it. I didn't visit it initially. And then it just didn't get sold. Not at all. I was expecting it to go, well, like lightning, like everything goes here now. And I told you about it in my previous video. The housing market here is still insane. We are 9 months into COVID and lockdown, and still housing prices are climbing, and still things get sold so super quickly. But this place didn't. And after a while, after Easter, when I had come to the conclusion, thanks to my mom, that okay, we are going to sell the old new place, I said to myself, it won't hurt to go looking. We were in our intelligent lockdown. We were working from home. The days were quiet. There was no dance class. There was no gym. People were discouraged to go shopping and stuff like that, all with good reason, of course. So I called the broker's office. I booked an appointment. And as soon as I stepped inside and I was looking out the window and I saw the water and the trees, I was like, oh, this feels good. And the broker could see that I was interested, so we had a little talk, and he asked me a couple of questions. So what do you think? And a couple of days later, he called me and he said, well, do you want to proceed? And I said, I love the place, but it needs a lot of work. You can see that especially the paintwork has not been renovated in recent years. And that tile floor that lies here still, really needs to be redone. It's beige, salmon, vanilla beige. A tile floor in an apartment building is not exactly allowed these days anymore. It's not very decent towards your downstairs neighbors. And me being sensitive to sound, I want to be a good neighbor. I want to be nice and friendly to my neighbors. I think that's very important. So as much as I like the location, it needs a lot of work, and he just asks way too much. So I let it go initially. And then in a total of 3 months later, it still hadn't sold. I had kept my eye on it on Funda. I kept checking it out, and week after week after week, it didn't get sold. And then something happened that I was sort of expecting. The broker took it off Funda, off the online database, without any, flag or label that it had been sold, and they kept it off the database for 2 weeks. And then after exactly 2 weeks, they put it back, like it was, all brand new. They had taken a couple of photos of the exterior, but everything else, the video material, the other photos, the description, the information, everything was just as it was. But it is a trick by brokers, to present something as if it is brand new. I knew differently, of course. I knew that it had been for sale for 3 months. And then 2 days later, the office called me. Hey, would you like to schedule another appointment? I was like, well, yeah, why not? The place is still on my mind. I had seen a couple of other apartments that were on sale, but nothing that, grabbed my attention like this one. I had in the meantime put my pride aside, called my mortgage advisor, told him the whole story and said, hey, I want to sell it again and buy something else. Can we look at, the possibilities? He had come round to visit my parents' place. We had a good talk about the finances, about the whole thing. And with some lovely temporary help from my parents, we could come quite a long way towards what the owner was asking. I didn't tell that to the broker, of course, but I said, yeah, I would like to, to visit it again. I did. It was a beautiful summer day. It was somewhere in June. Yeah, June. And I mean, everything was full in summer bloom. It was just, And we sat down on the couch, the broker and I, on not this one, obviously. There was a brown double sofa standing here before I bought it. And we sat down and the broker said, how do you feel about it now? I said, well, I still like it, but my problems are the same. The renovation, the flooring, in combination with the price. So I openly asked him, what is more important for this guy? Does he want to sell it quickly, or does he want to sell it for the highest price? If you have to choose one of the two, what is more important? Because the owner, he had put it on the market 3 months ago. And I had in the meantime learned that he was getting the keys to his new place by the end of September already. So we had a talk, and of course, initially the broker didn't really want to answer my question, but I kept on gently pushing. And in the end, I went back to my parents' place. I had another good talk with my mortgage advisor, with my parents. And I put a bid in that day that was quite a bit lower than what the owner was asking for. And I thought, you know what? This is just an opening bid. Let's see what happens. Within 24 hours, the deal was struck. We met halfway and we put what's it called in English? We put the closing deal date on October 2nd. And the funny thing is that I felt so completely different from last time. Last time in Veenendaal, I was hyped up. I was bouncing around with adrenaline and hyperactivity and I was almost hysterical. And this time I felt so calm. I felt, like I said in those little clips that I inserted, I felt grounded. I felt that I was taking this decision for the good reasons. This place felt like home immediately. And instead of taking 2 hours like I did last time to come to a conclusion and to put a bid in, I had taken 3 months now. I had seen it twice instead of once. I had taken my time. I had thought about it over and over and over. I had driven by the place on a weekly basis just to check out the neighborhood, to see how I felt there. This felt so good. And then within a week, 2 weeks, my old new apartment, my apartment in Veenendaal, was put on the market. It sold for an insane amount of money. And, you know, when October 2nd came around, everything was done. I asked my boss if I could if I could use, you know, the holiday time that I wasn't going to spend abroad because of COVID, to take those days off to renovate the house. We did, and we took it so nice and slow. The tile floor that I just talked about is still in the apartment now. I don't love it, but I have said to myself, you are not going to put pressure on you by wanting to have the paintwork done before, you know, a new floor comes in. I am just going to take a year, 2 years to see how the light, you know, develops throughout the year, to orientate yourself on a new floor and just take your time. And that was such a good decision. So yeah, this is where I am now, and it feels good. It definitely feels good. I still work from home full time. We already know that we are gonna work from home until at least April 1st. It feels lovely to live just a couple of minutes away from friends and from dance class. I love going walking in this neighborhood. It has wonderful opportunities to be outside and enjoy the sunshine or the clouds like today. This place feels like home. I moved in so smoothly. First time I slept here was on a Thursday up until Friday after dance class. So I knew that I would, you know, have activities in the evening. I came back here, took a nice shower in my new shower, went to bed. And after that, I spent the weekend at my parents' place. Then on Monday, I came back, and that was it. That was it. It went so smoothly. And I'm just taking my time now. I'm painting the kitchen cabinets. I have, you know, quite a couple of boxes still to unpack. But it feels like home. And I'm so, so thankful for that. Like I said earlier, Christmas is usually a time for me when I get a bit sentimental, nostalgic, and I think back on how the year has been. A year ago, Christmas time, I could not have imagined this. A year ago, Christmas time, I was at my absolute lowest point. I had just started on the antidepressants. They had enormous side effects. I felt unhappy, I felt sick, I felt like a complete and utter failure, and look at me now. I have a new house where I feel at home. Of course, that big red box inside my head, that panic story is still present. I have felt the tinge of a panic attack a couple of times here now, but it's much more under control now. I can feel what's happening inside my head. I can take the steps that I need to stay out of a full-blown panic attack. And I can just tell myself, hey, listen, you have moved in and out of 3 houses in the space of 18 months. It's normal that you're tired. It's normal that your brain feels chaotic. It's normal that you have trouble to really relax when you still see so many things that you want to do in the house. But you know what? Take your time. So for the last week or so, since our new lockdown has commenced, I have managed to sit down on the couch every evening and stitch a bit. Some evenings I feel restless and I don't have energy or concentration to stitch, so I just spend the evenings bobbinating, for instance, the threads of Peacock Daisy that are now ready to go. But other evenings I feel relaxed enough to enjoy stitching and to enjoy a movie or some Flosstube. Man, I'm full-time back at work. My sick file has finally closed. And you know, guys, I actually enjoy being back at work full-time and on my old position. I've learned this year that I thrive working from home. And as weird as it sounds, 2020 has been such a good year for me. I was talking to Sasha about this a couple of weeks ago, and we said to each other, it feels almost wrong that we thrive in a year that is so horrible and heartbreaking around the world. And I don't mean to be ignorant of that. I know that for a lot of us, we can't wait for this year to be over. A lot of us have experienced illness, loss, grief, panic, anxiety, what have you. And I don't mean to gloss over all of that. But for me personally, especially the second half of this year, it has been wonderful. I can't say anything else. It has been wonderful. And I so very much hope that I can continue this climb upwards in the next year. So yeah, it's a much shorter and much happier and much more positive life update than last time. And if you're still here with me, I thank you so much. If you left me a comment last time, I haven't had the time, due to the house to respond to all of you, but I've read each and every single one of them, and I can't thank you enough for the love and encouragement and support. Thank you especially for those of you who, have opened up about their own experiences with our mental health issues. You're not alone. And I think that I am ending the year, or I should say I am starting Christmas in a much better place, literally and figuratively, compared to last year. So, with that being said, I wish all of you a Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, or otherwise happy holidays, despite the circumstances that we are living through now. I hope that you will find some time to either offline or online spend time with the people that you love. I hope that you will stay healthy, take good care of yourself, and I hope to see you all in the new year. Happy stitching. Thanks for being on this whole journey with me, and I can't wait to show you my whip parade in the new year. Ciao, my friends.